Hi everyone. So the first question is, why do you think that we should plan at age 14? Is that a good age? Should it be younger or older? And at first I was thinking it was a good age, and then I kind of jumped around a little bit. Now I'm thinking it might be a good idea to start a couple years before that, just because I don't think there's ever a time where it's too early to start planning for your future and figuring out what you want to do, especially for the children with special needs. So I think maybe around like 12 years old or so, just kind of, I don't know, just give them some ideas, like go on field trips, figure out kind of what they want, what they're interested in, what their hobbies are, what their skills are, and their strengths and weaknesses. And then throughout high school, like beginning at age 14 or so, their interests can change, and so like actually really starting to like put them in classes that, okay, like these are classes that you're very interested in. Start doing that once they're like 15 or 16 or so then they can have the rest of high school to continue with those classes and really start planning out. But I don't think it's too early to start thinking about what they want, and it's okay to jump around from one thing to another. So to answer the question, I think a little bit earlier than 14 would be good to give them some ideas of stuff that they would be interested in, and then really start hardcore planning once they hit like 15 or 16. Second question is, how do we balance the priorities within schools when we transition plan? So the example was given in the video is if a student wanted to work in an auto body shop, make sure that they have those classes. I would say that is a good way to balance, to like put them in clubs and just get them involved and get them out there, gain experience. So like with this, another example was like if someone wanted to be a cook, so get them in cooking classes, make sure they know how to like measure, learn about spices, just kind of slowly just have them like dip their feet in the water throughout their time in high school, and then having an internship, just getting them out into the world. Making connections is huge, just making it as normal for them as possible, because I know in high school we had a shadow day and it was like everybody would shadow, so it was just kind of like each individual could figure out what they wanted to do. So I think things like that, like internships, shadow days, get them involved in clubs and things like that would be a good way to balance priorities within the school for the planning. And then with the credit requirements, I think those should be set, because once the student does reach it, they realize that each student had to gain those credits. They all have to have the same, so they'll have a sense of pride along with that, which I think will be good. And I do think, like, if they absolutely cannot pass the class for whatever reason, then I think it's okay to be lenient that way, but those would be like very special occasions and like very rare. So yeah, I think for the most part the students should kind of all have the same, and if the rules bend too much, then it's like the line is blurred and it's hard to know, like, okay, this student really cannot pass this class, but this student maybe just needs a little bit more help, but he says he can't. So I think just like making it as concrete as possible would be the best way to go about it. So there's that. Thanks.